Do architects code? Do developers think before writing code? Hello friend, today we will review second chapter of the book. In this chapter, Richard and Ford, they discuss how architect thinking is different than developers thinking. I would say instead of architect thinking versus developer thinking, it is architect mindset versus a developer mindset. There could be a developer who is well versed in architecture thinking, architecture design and guidelines, and there may be some architect who has been promoted based on his seniority to architect position. He may not be involved in day-to-day application development, integration. He's just building some application blocks, maintaining some catalog. We'll discuss how the architect mindset is different than developer's mindset. I created a video before. Do check out that video, why some great developers are not architect. So this chapter is very great to learn how you can develop an architect mindset. The first thing about architecture mindset is to know where the architecture starts and design ends. In old ways, in waterfall method, there were some architect who decided scalability was important, performance was important, database independence. The architecture should be independent of database, should not develop on the whether you are using SQL Server or Oracle. And they build some UML diagrams, gave to developers, and developers did on their own implementation, and architects never checked what developers did. So but whatever was in the blueprint was never implemented in real life. What they define is define new processes. There should be no boundaries between architects and developers. Architects should be well versed with development. They should know what the developers are coding. They should have some ideas. They should be able to get feedback, make sure developers are implementing whatever the architecture characteristics they came, the guidelines they came, that there should be a layered architecture, and data independence is very important. We should not write store procedures, and they came up a component model, and they should be reviewing whether that's how being developed. And if there's some reason, there are some exceptions that architecture is not implementable, they should change their architecture artifacts. They should change their diagrams, modify their diagrams to show the real architecture. The second thing they talk about is architects have more technical breadth, where developers have more technical depth. What it means, as developer, you may be a .NET developer, Java developer, and you can focus on .NET depth, Java depth, or you are some business intelligence developer, business reporting developer, where you may be using Cognos, MicroStrategy. But as an architect, you need to know the capabilities of .NET, capabilities of Java technology, what is latest in artificial intelligence. You need to know big data, when to use big data versus relational data, when to use Kafka. If you have unstructured data, you could be using big data. At the same time, I have seen Java shops where most of the web-based server development is done in Java, but when it comes into building desktop-based application, they use .NET technologies, because building Windows applications which run on desktop is very productive in .NET platform as compared to Java. Again, if there's some reporting system is there where you have some fixed dimensions and you need to fix something fast, so you may use some Cognos reporting system or MicroStrategy, use the Cube technology. That way you can build reporting for the executives very fast. Whereas if it is, you have to build some complicated criteria, you have to do analysis at very deep level. So you may be building some custom development. So if you are planning to move towards to architect position, as you improve, as you progress in your career, you need to know more about other technologies. If you are a .NET developer, you need to know what are other technologies in your ecosystem, and learn some little bit. The third point they talk about is the difference between architect mindset and developer mindset is trade-offs. Architect has to do the trade-off of different options. I'll take it different way. I'll say architect mindset is more analytical, whereas programmer mindset is more logical. What does that mean? Let me tell you. Let me give you one example. We were building a reporting system, so we have to build PDF format. So we were using a tool. Either we have two ways of doing it. Either we could do programming model, basically do everything, build whole report in PDF, whatever we were building in HTML. There was another option tool was giving it called screen scraping. So it could read the HTML and generate the PDF. If we do the custom development, we get more control. So if you coming from the programming mindset, you would say, okay, let's do the programmer way. That's how logical thinking is. That's what we think. But if you think about architect mindset, you will do the trade-off. Okay, if I am using coding, it's gonna take a lot of effort. Do I have time? What are my deadlines? When I have to deliver? Is that performance from HTML to PDF conversion is acceptable? Productivity is high, less work. So we went with the HTML to PDF because we have very less time to develop, and it worked out very wonderfully. So as an architect, you have to do analytical thinking, see what is our performance of this option and this option, what are pro cons, and what is the business scenario. So based on we take that decision. So the fourth thing is as an architect, you have to be very business savvy. As an architect, you have to know your industry knowledge, how many applications are mapping to that business effort, so that there's no duplicate of business effort. Suppose somebody came with the requirement, okay, we need to calculate, we need an application which is supporting that business area. So there may be already some effort going on in different department, different location. As an architect, it's your job to educate the business owners that this effort is already going on in another department. There should not be no duplicate effort. And that's one thing is you have to be very, very business savvy. If you're working in financial firm, you have to know all the financial. Suppose you are working for a trading company, you need to know all the terms so that you can communicate to very senior level. So once when I couple of long time back, I was giving some updates to some top business level person, and that time our application was crashing. So I wrote some routine to clean up the session variables and make the application work. And I was telling the top business workers, giving status, what did we achieve 2 weeks, and I was talking about how the session, how the information was being stored in session instead of caching. We were storing big data set in the session, and that top business guy was like wondering what I'm talking about. So so as an architect, you will be talking with very high level business executives. So you need to know the domain term very well, so that you can find out what are the different architectural characteristics which are important for this application. The final question which authors tackle is, do architect code? They recommend highly that architect should code. One big challenge architect or even lead they face is like if they take some coding exercise, they can become a bottleneck, because they have to do architect work also, do the design, come up with the component model, and make sure application is respecting all those constraints. And if they start coding also, they become the bottleneck. It can delay the deadlines. So what is the recommendation for architects is they can build some features which is required in third or fourth iteration or scrum, not required immediately, so that they are not the bottleneck. Another thing architects can do is build proof of concept, and this proof of concept they should build is where it should be production ready. It should be demonstrating the good practices. You should be using dependency injection. There should be business layer, data layer, so that this becomes a model for other developers to use it. Another thing the architects can do is they can clean up some technical debt. There's some class written very huge, so you can refactor to make it more maintainable. There is some code you write, fix one bug, it creates 20 bugs. So as an architect, you can clean up that one. Personally, I said what our architect and lead should do is they should write automated unit tests. That's where you design your architecture, design your classes, component, and write the test, so that developers have to write the code to pass your test. That's where you can teach test-driven development to new developers. So thank you. So today we watched how the architect mindset is different than developers mindset, and what architects can do to make sure they are hands-on architect. So if you like this video, like it, share it, and subscribe to this channel for your regular updates. Thanks for watching.